x squared plus bx plus c is equal to what? 0. Remember, it's ax squared, bx, c is equal to 0. Very important. What do we call this one? The general quadratic equation. That's the general one. Now, you need to match these two. You need to match them so that what you have is 3x squared, you agree with me, minus 2x, which is so far so good. But the problem, this one says equal to 4. So what do you do? Take 4 to the other side so that it becomes what? Minus 4. You see that? To represent the c. So it will be minus 4 equal to, after 4 joins, remember from positive it becomes what? Negative. That's why it's minus c. Equal to 0. You are trying to match that general equation. Are you with me? Hello, our most developed student. My name is Confident, and welcome to our revision session. And I'm looking at the revision for grade 11. As you guys are preparing for your final exams, I thought of bringing in a previous paper, and this is the November 2019 paper, as you can see. And just to avoid the long videos, I'm just going to focus on the first question, that is question 1. So this is the paper that I'm talking about, and it was written in November 2019. We don't have 2020, 2021 because you guys know the effects of COVID. There was no national exams, but this time around you guys are going to sit for a national exam. So this is the paper that was once written, and I'm only going to focus on question 1. It's a 3-hour paper that you guys will be writing, and a few instructions which are very important as you begin your exams. Let's look at this. It says, read the following instructions carefully. This question paper consists of 9 questions. Answer all the questions. And a few things here that I want to show you. It says, number the answers correctly, so don't come with your own numbering. Then it says, clearly show all calculations, diagrams, graphs that you have used in determining your answers. Answers only will not necessarily be awarded full marks. So don't do your rough work in the paper, in the question paper, and then you forget to include your working. They are interested in your working, guys. Don't forget that. It says you may use an approved scientific calculator. This is where I'm interested. Round off answers to 2 decimal places, unless stated otherwise. So it's 2 decimal places. Diagrams are not drawn to scale. Write neatly and legible, meaning make your work visible. Alright, so let us look at the first question, question number 1. But before we do that, quickly, let's do some housekeeping. Guys, if you are coming in contact with this channel for the first time, it means you are our new visitor. What do I request from you is to subscribe to this channel and ensure that the notification bell is turned on so that you can be notified every time there's a new video. There are tons and tons of videos that are focused on grade 11, and this is with you in mind. So if you're preparing even for your grade 12, this is a good foundation. But it is important that you subscribe so that every time there's a new video, YouTube notifies you. When you make sure that the notification bell is turned on, it becomes even more easy for you to follow up on what you're uploading. So this is the revision time. You don't want to miss some lessons. So go now and subscribe. Now let's look at the question 1 without wasting time. By the way, most of my videos, I usually take time, make them long. The channel is called 24-minute lessons. So if you see a video that is longer than 24 minutes, just watch it in 24 minutes pockets, because the first 24 minutes is the most crucial time that you have whenever you are revising. Your mind is absorbing more for the first 24 minutes. Anything you do later, it will actually be it will actually full of distractions, and your concentration span will have been reduced. So what I will suggest you do, after 24 minutes, take a break, come again for the next 24 minutes, take a break, come again for the next 24 minutes. Actually, I'm going to do a video whereby I'll give you some revision strategies that will work for you. Okay, look at this one. Question 1.1, and then solve for x in the following. And then we're looking at question 1. How many marks is this? 26 marks. These are good marks. So I'm just going to do question 1 here. We are solving for x here. It says 2x, x minus 3 is equal to 0. You get 2 marks. So how can you solve this? Let me just quickly do this. It says solve for x, and you've got 2x, x minus 3 is equal to 0. You know what? Here I don't want to waste much time, but don't be tempted. Students are usually tempted to say, whenever I say a bracket, I must open that bracket. Don't do that. Avoid it. It was not necessary. For the 2 marks, the answer is just there. What you need to do, it's similar. Let's say they give you brackets like this. Maybe they say x plus 1, x minus 4 is equal to 0. What do you do whenever you are given this? You don't expand, but you already take the first bracket to say x plus 1 is equal to 0, or x minus 4 is equal to 0. That's what you usually do. So similarly, even here, you take this first one to say 2x is equal to 0, or x minus 3 is equal to 0. You understand? So what they are actually saying here is that this part, you can rewrite this as 2x plus 0 and x minus 3 is equal to 0. So 0 doesn't have a sign. It's neither positive or negative. So then you can therefore here say 2x, either 2x plus 0 is equal to 0, but this is nothing. That's why we're saying 2x is equal to 0. Are you seeing that? So let not that confuse you in a way. So the simple thing is to write it like that, and then when you simplify, divide by 2 here, and then what you have, x is equal to 0, because 0 divided by 2 is that, or x is equal to negative 3 when it goes to the other side of the equal sign. From negative, it jumps the equal sign, it becomes positive. So x is equal to 3. So you've got your two answers. Now what do? You substitute. You go to the equation here. You've got x is equal to 0. So where there is x, you put either a 0 here in brackets, or you put a 0 and then you put 3. So it's a matter of every time. Actually, when they say solve for x, you can test your answers literally. So let's start with x equal to 0. So it's 2 brackets 0 and then bracket 0 minus 3. It must give me a 0. So that one is fine. Play back. The other one was x was equal to 3. So if we do that, put a 3 there, you see 0. So that one is fine. So that is 1.1.1. Now let's go to 1.1.2. It's 4 marks. It says you are solving for x correct to 2 decimal places. The moment they say 2 decimal places, you must know that you're using the quadratic formula. Quadratic formula, and you need to know this formula. Okay guys, I emphasize it is very important for you to know the formula. So let us look at that. To say, what am I given? I'm given 3x squared. Let me maintain my mark. It's 3x squared minus 2x is equal to 4. Now whenever you're given this, let me just give it space. Look at this now. When you're given this, is very, very important for you to understand that this comes from the quadratic equation, and let's come to the general quadratic equation. It's ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to what? 0. Remember, it's ax squared, bx, c is equal to 0. Very important. What do we call this one? The general quadratic equation. That's the general one. Now you need to match these two. You need to match them so that what you have is 3x squared, you agree with me, minus 2x, which is so far so good. But the problem, this one says equal to 4. So what do? Take 4 to the other side so that it becomes what? Minus 4. You see that? To represent the c. So it will be minus 4 equal to, after 4 joins, remember from positive it becomes what? Negative. That's why it's minus c. Equal to 0. You are trying to match that general equation. Are you with me? So when you have done this, it's now in a way that you can solve it with the what? Quadratic formula. What's the quadratic formula? It says x is equal to minus b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Now let me just quickly come back to the question. The moment they say correct to 2 decimal places, just know the easier one, or what they are actually requiring from you, is to quote this quadratic formula. That's the main reason why they are doing that. Now why then the quadratic formula? Look at this. If you look at this, you can have your a, you see that? You cut here at, these are the coefficients. So this is the coefficient of x squared, this is the coefficient of x. Now go with the signs. So you cut at x here, but don't forget plus b minus 2. And then also here at c, there is no x, but you cut also with the signs like that. Why am I doing it? It will give me my value for a. You can see that a is 3. And then my b is equal to negative 2. My c is equal to minus 4. I think that. Then from this stage, when I write that quadratic formula, I'm able now to say x is equal to minus. So this is the minus part of that. So I have that minus, which I'm having here. I think that. Then where there is a b, put a bracket. Every time you are substituting, put a bracket. Minus, what is b? B is minus 2. So minus 2, then you close that bracket. So every time for b, you can see that b was minus 2. We did that. And then what we have? We have plus or minus. Remember, I'm moving like that. And then square root of b squared. Again, put a bracket. And then you have your b. And what is b? It's minus 2. And then squared. You close the bracket and you put what? The square. Are you with me? Minus 4. When I'm bringing in for AC, put a bracket for A, put a bracket for C. Are you with me, guys? So what is A? A is 3 and C is what? Minus 4. Are you seeing that? And then this is all over, and then you've got 2 again. Put the brackets to what? To protect the A there, which is 3. So you see the importance of brackets. Very important. Now the negative there was very important, but you don't need to stress on that. Now students usually make errors. They want to simplify this whereby they take a calculator and do it in parts. But this is how you do the calculator. Pay attention now. You don't need to start calculating this in parts. You do it once. So you've got your fraction because it's over 3. Then you've got minus first one, bracket as is, minus 2. You need to give us the answer straight away. Plus, start with the positive one, square root of, bracket. It was what? Negative 2 squared, minus 4, bracket, 3, close it, bracket, negative 4, then you close it as is. And then you go down here to say 2 bracket 3. Are you getting that? So when you say that equal to, you need now to give us those decimals. They say leave your answer to 2 decimal places. You can round off if you know, but if you don't know, you shift setup, the calculator will do it for you. press 6 for fix to 2 decimal places. There it is, 1,54 is the first one. X is equal to 1,54, or X is equal to, then we get the second one. And then for the second one, what you do, you play back, delete, put minus, and then equal to, then press ST, negative 0,87. So it's minus 0,87. Are you with me? So these are the two values of X. One is positive, one is negative. Remember, they said leave your answer into what? They say 2 decimal places. You see that? All right. But guys, do you just leave your answer like that? No, you need to go and test your answer. So what you do is, you don't use the rounded off figures. Don't use the rounded off figures like this to test your answer. You need to use the original figures. So what you come here, let me bring back that calculator. But look at this. Where there is X, that's where I will put the actual values. So if I bring that calculator, so I can choose, let me take it back, shift setup, because I want to take it back to norm, which is 8, and then I press 1. So if I press SD, it's back to normal. So it doesn't matter which one I'm testing with, whether I'm testing with the negative or the positive. Let's say I want to test with that one. See, it's a long number, but if I press AC and I say answer equal to, see, it still gives me my answer. So the calculator keeps the last answer. So if I then can say 3 answer squared, it's using that answer. I'm testing now 3 answer squared minus 2 answer. It must give me what? 4. In other words, I'm saying 3 bracket. The calculator knows how to put those brackets. So if you want, you can not there. If you want, actually you can put this the bracket here to say bracket answer bracket squared, which that X, and then bracket answer. But even if you didn't put it, it was going to be the same, equal to 4. You see that? Even if I delete these brackets, the calculator automatically places these brackets like that. So if I say 3 answer squared, I don't know now why it's giving me 40, but it was going to give you 4. Just test it, you will see what I mean. I think because of me, even if you see, if I put a bracket now here like this, the calculator is continuing with the answer from the previous one. If I do this and say equal to, see, it keeps on changing now, but I needed that previous one. So that's how you get your 4 marks. Not difficult, but it's very important for you to be sensitive. So that was 1.2. Let's go to 1.1.3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to also remove this, and yeah, let's take that away. And don't forget, whenever you're solving for X, you can always test your answers. You don't need to hope and pray that this is correct. Now here you're solving for X, but this is an inequality. So what does it say? It is saying here X minus 1 and 4 minus X is greater than or equal to 0. Is how many marks? 3 marks. See that? Now let's solve this thing. It's also not complicated. It just needs you to be very, very sensitive to a few things. Look at this. When I'm given this question here, a little bit there, what I need to do is already see it's done for me. I need to find what is called the critical values. So critical values. I need to find these critical values, but how do I find them? This is how you do. You say X minus 1, 4 minus X, and then you equate that to 0 to find the critical values. So the first bracket is what? X minus 1 is equal to 0, or 4 minus X is equal to 0. So take X to the other, 1 to the other side. From negative, it jumps to become what? Positive. So X is equal to 1 here. Positive 1. What about the other side? Which one are you going to take to the other side? I know you can take 4, but the easier one, look, it's minus X. Why don't you take minus X to the other side? So it changes from negative, it jumps here, it becomes positive x. So it is negative x, then it will become positive, that which is what we want. We just want a positive answer. 4 is equal to x. You can therefore x here is equal to what? X is equal to 4. 4 is equal to x, x is equal to 4. When you have done that, then we can bring in our part here of the critical values to say, how do you go about? You come with a number line like this. Very important. So your number line is going that direction, your number line is going that direction. You do what is called testing. So what are the critical values? Remember, the number line increases, so 1 is here and 4 is there, because somewhere here you have got 0 in your number line. So 0, 1, 4 is increasing that direction. But now let me remove this 0 part. I was just trying to show you which one starts between 1 and 4. So just know that this is how it is. Then you test. What way do you test? Look for a number before 1. Let me put with an arrow. Look for a number before 1. We can test here, as you said, we are going to use 0. Look for a number between 1 and 4. Maybe let's use 2. And then we're going to look for a number after. So this one is between. And then we're going to look at a number after 4. We can use a simple number as 5. So I'm going to use these 3 numbers. I'm going to test them. So what do? I go to my original, which is, let me write the original. It's x minus 1 and 4 minus x. So when I'm testing, start with the first one. It's x minus, not x, because I'm saying let my x be 0. So it's 0 minus 1 and 4 minus 0. Remember, x is 0. If I do that, let me see what my calculator will give me. Now, what are you expecting to be? Just look at this. So bracket 0 minus 1 and 4 minus 0 equal to negative 4. So this is negative 4. Don't worry with the 4. What is interesting is the sign. So what does negative mean? This means, I'll put it in brackets, it means it is less than 0. So it's negative. Okay, so you come here and say the answer was negative. So be interested in the sign. Less than 0 is negative. Negative means less. All right, we come back again to use another one. Let's test with 2. So here it will be 2 minus 1 and 4 minus 2. What answer are we gonna get? Again, come with the calculator here to say 2 minus 1 and 4 minus 2. We're going to get a 2. So the answer I'm getting here is 2. But what is interesting, there is a sign there. You need that sign, positive. So you come here and say, okay, my answer was a positive. Are you with me? What does positive mean? Positive means it is greater than 0. Anything positive means it's greater. So lastly, let's test with 5. So what I have here is 5 minus 1 and 4 minus 5. Remember, where there is x is what I'm having here. So when you test again, what I have is 5 minus 1 and 4 minus 5. Is 4 minus 5 equal to negative 4. So again here I'm getting a negative 4. Be sensitive with the negative. So you can see that the answer I got there is negative. Don't worry with the numbers, just the signs. So what does negative mean? It means less than 0. So I can come here and say for negative it was meaning it's less, positive meaning it's greater, negative meaning it's less. Are you with me? So I'm gonna put this in brackets here. Those are the signs I'm getting. So now this, I was just doing it for you. I can take it away because you just do it with the calculator. Now the question is, I need to write the answer for this. Now then you come back to this sign. Let me use a different marker now. You come back to the sign and you ask yourself to say, what is the sign they gave me? The sign is the one for greater. You match it here to say which one is similar. There is a similar sign, right? So which means the region you want is this particular region between 1 and 4. So how do you write your answer? That is the region. By the way, guys, whenever you are giving these signs, you will always get alternating signs. If you have got your critical values like this, x1 and x2, just want to show you, if you start with a positive, there will be a negative and a positive. Or if you start with a negative, then a positive and a negative, you'll get two options. These are the only two options: positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, positive. You won't get something like this. Here already is showing. You won't get negative, negative, positive. No. Neither positive, positive, negative. No. You'll get alternating signs. Okay. So now that was just something, but there are some lessons that I did on this. Since our region is that, how do you write your final answer? You write your 1 and you write your 4, and then you put x in the center, because x is between these values. Then you just do that and you just do that. That becomes your answer, meaning 1 is less than or equal to x, x is less than or equal to 4. Why did I put less? Because even our answer has less than or equal to. Our answer has equal to, so you also put the equal to and the equal to there. If there was nothing on the equal to, you're going to just use that and that. Guys, that's how you do it. Anyway, I need to move on because this is not the time to be teaching as such. I'm just revising. So that was at 1.1.3. then instead of max, look at this one, 1.1.4. 5 minus square root of 5 minus x is equal to x plus 1. We are solving for what? For x. So let me also take this away and bring in the new question. What does it say? Look at this one. It says square root of 5 minus x, remember this is under square root, is equal to x plus 1. Guys, 5, was it 4 marks or 5 marks? I don't know. But look at this. Again, not complicated. Don't complicate it, but it's simpler. You can literally do this in a simpler way. What do you do? Whenever you're given a question like this, it's a square root, you need to get rid of the square root. How do you get rid of the square root? You square both sides. So if you say here, remember, if I'm given a square root, now a square root, the only way to remove that square root is to square it. That's what that's how you remove a square root. So here, if I square, and then also what I will have is I will have square root of 5 minus x. When I'm squaring, I'm removing that square root. But what you do on the left, you need to do on the right. So you square this side, you also need to square the other side, which is what? X plus 1. That's the principle. What you do on the left, you do on the right. But since the square root has fallen down, you will have only here 5 minus x. But on the other side, because it's a square, square means x plus 1 and what? X plus 1. Be careful what students usually do here. You know what they do? They will say x plus 1 squared is equal to, then they take this square in, it will be x squared plus they take that and 1 squared. Very, very suicidal. Don't do that. Don't be tricked. This is this. 2 of them, okay? Avoid that, because this error is even taken to grade 12. You find that they're checking if ever you know that this is not that. Don't expand on a power. That's suicidal, okay? That's suicidal. I repeat, don't do that. Don't be led to that trick. They're always trying to check if you know that that is that. Now we move on. 5 minus x, no bracket, is equal to, so they want you to see that this is FOIL. You open that and you open that. You open that and you open that. The FOIL method, you need to expand. X times x it's x squared. X times 1 is plus 1x, which is x. X times 1 is x. 1 times 1 is 1. That's all they wanted to check you there. So 5 minus x is equal to x squared, and then x plus x. Remember, it's a 1 and a 1. It's 2x, not 2x squared, guys. 2x plus 1. Alright, then after that you can take everything on this side, let it jump the equal sign. But remember, how does it jump? When you transpose it, the negative x, it was negative, it will become positive x. The 5 was positive. When it jumps, it was positive, it will become negative. That's all that you need to be sensitive here. So you will be left with nothing on this side. It will be x squared. Then you collect like terms, plus 2x. We said negative x becomes positive x, and then plus 1, positive 5 becomes negative 5. So when you do it, you just collect like terms. So it's x squared, 2x plus x, there is a 1 there. 2 plus 1, it's 3, but you maintain the x. 1 minus 5 is minus 4. There it is. You are almost there. So how do you do this? You can rewrite it and say, therefore, start now with the common one, is x squared. You know it like this, plus 3x minus 4 equal to 0. So this is a quadratic what? Equation. What do? You do the same thing with that quadratic formula. There is a 1 there. I know you can solve this by simple putting the brackets, but I always say go through the quadratic equation. So x is equal to, okay, let me do this quick. Remember, it's a x squared plus bx plus c equal to 0. It's not necessary, but it's very important if you want to ensure that you don't make errors. So what is my quadratic equation? It's x is equal to minus b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. You see? Then you start to check what is my a. You see, a is 1 there. You cut at x, but don't forget the signs. B. There you cut, don't forget the signs. So you can say now x is equal to, you can have your a. You can see that a is 1 here, b is 3, and c is negative 4. So you've got minus, put a bracket. What is b? Is 3. Every time you see the letter, you put a bracket. B squared, put a bracket, it's 3 squared, minus 4, bracket, a is 1, c is negative 4. See that? And then this thing is all over 2, and then my a is a 1. Guys, I know some will be like, but say you can't use this, it's too long. It's up to you, but I always encourage those who feel like they don't want to make errors and they need those 3 marks, please go through this route. I know it, because students always make errors when they factorize that answer. So it's bracket 3 squared minus 4, a is 1, that is negative 4, and then all over 2 and 1 equal to, first answer x is equal to 1, go backwards, put a negative, and x is equal to minus 4. So x is equal to 1 or x is equal to negative 4. Now for you who say, but this was supposed to be done simpler than this long route, I understand. Where are we? It was here to say x squared plus 3x minus 4 is equal to 0. Some they prefer this method whereby equal to 0. Then they put the x there, they put the x, and they're like, you multiply there, it's a 4 and a 1, and then they're like, I need a negative, so here it will be negative and there it will be positive, so that then they check, they're like, no, it's the other way around, it will be negative and that one positive. So 1 times this is that, because this 3 is positive, so 4 is positive. Therefore, x minus 1 equal to 0, or x plus 4 equal to 0. So x is equal to positive 1, or x is equal to negative 4. If you did like this, fine, it's fine, no arguments, but still I encourage students to go this route. Then, is that the end? No. What you do then, you take a calculator to go back. You need to test. Very, very important. On this one, it's very, very important. So you take that, square root of 5 minus x called x plus 1. Let me actually square root. It was what? Square root of 5 minus x is equal to x plus 1. On this one, I emphasize you need to test your answers. So what you do, you come here and say when x is 1, so it's square root of 5 minus 1 is equal to 1 plus 1. That is it. That is when x is equal to 1. What about when x is equal to negative 4? So you'll have what? Square root of 5 minus bracket minus 4 is equal to minus 4 plus 1. So we need to test now these answers. So how do you test that? This is what you do. You come here and say square root of 5 minus 1 equal to, on the other side I've got 2, and then so 2 is equal to 1 plus 1 is 2. So this is fine. Then you test the other side. Now sometimes you might make an error in testing. This is what I usually do when I'm testing. Look at this. Remember, x is minus 4. So I'll say minus 4 equal to, so that's my answer. So that's my answer. Answer is called minus 4. So when I'm testing it, it will be square root of 5 minus answer equal to, I get a 3, is equal to minus 4 plus 1 is minus 3. So you see, this doesn't balance, so it's not equal to. So here you can see that when it was minus 4, it didn't work out. So you can then conclude and say x is not equal to that. Then they will mark you like that. If you don't test your answer and you leave it x is equal to minus 4, you are going to get it wrong there. So you need to test. You need to test, because with the square root ones, most of the time you find one of the answers is not balancing. Okay guys, I hope this is making sense. All right, now still on our revision session, we are looking at the next one, just taking off some of the working here. Let us look at the next question, which is, I still have a few things here to take off. Okay, I'm looking at the next question, which was question what? So we have done that, which is good. 5 marks. Now 1.2. So for x and y simultaneously, 6 marks. All right, it's also very important for you to know the trick there. What is the first one? X plus 4 is equal to 2y. So let's write that first one. X plus 4 is equal to 2y. And then what's the second one? Y squared minus xy is equal to 21. So I've got y squared minus xy plus 21 is equal to 0. So let me just check if I'm doing this right. Okay, so I need to solve for x and y simultaneously here. So let me bring this here. Again, very important strategy that you need to do. This is equation 1. This is equation 2. Now you need to go to the simpler equation, which is equation 1, to say x plus 4 is equal to 2y. And you can see it's easy for me to separate x and make x the subject, meaning I can remain with x on my left hand side. Why? The 4 is like the plus is very far. Like look, this 4 is positive. Now if the 4 goes to the other side of the equal sign, it changes from positive, it jumps, becomes negative. Okay, so what it will become, x will be equal to 2y, which is already on the other side, but is now minus 4. Then this becomes equation 3. This simultaneous equation is about mistakes. Then when you are done with equation 3, bring down equation what? Equation 2, which is y squared minus xy plus 21 is equal to 0. This is still our equation 2. But what do you do then? From here, you are going to say 3, meaning equation 3 into 2, meaning equation 3 will go into 2. What does it mean? Whenever we see x, we're no longer going to write x. Remember, this is x. I said x is equal to. So you're going to put it there. You substitute, and that's it. So wherever you see x, don't write x. Now write that value for x. So what do I have? I've got y squared is equal to minus x. So it's minus, but I need to put that 2y minus 4. See that? In brackets though, so that it becomes, and then after that I've got y, then dot y, or you can just put y like that. That's where they want to trick you now. Then let me refinish that. Plus 21 equal to 0. That's where they just like tricking students, because you're confused. What do I do with that y? Simple, guys. Y squared is equal to minus, take it to the front, so it's minus y, 2y minus 4 plus 21 equal, why am I having two equal sign equal to 0? I think here is a mistake that I'm doing here. It's what? Even here. Actually here there was no equal sign. It's supposed to be y minus. So it's minus x. So I'm supposed to bring this close. Let's take this closer. It's one thing. Even here, I need to take this guy close. This, because it's just one thing. Are you with me? So it's y squared minus y. Remember, take it that the equal sign must always be 1. It was an error I was making. Then you close there. Remember, you open and close. Then at this stage, this can go in. You are expanding. This can go in to multiply. What is it? Y squared. And then minus y times 2y is minus 2y squared. See that? Minus y times minus 4, negative is positive 4y. Plus 21 is equal to 0. Don't be make an error here. Minus y times 2y, negative times positive was the negative. Then here you can see I've got a hidden one there. So it's 1y squared minus 2y squared. It's 1 minus 2, which is minus 1y squared. You can use a calculator, say 1 minus 2. Remember, the variable is the same, y squared. So look at the numbers. 1 minus 2 is minus 1, but y squared. Plus 4y plus 21 is equal to 0. Now, what do? It's up to you, but I also think go the quadratic root. Now, the quadratic root is what? A x squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. But now you don't have really to put x now. Where there is x, what do you have? You've got y now. So you see that. So now you can say a y squared minus by plus c. So that you can see which one is my a. You can see that a is equal to what? Negative 1. Which one is my y? Cut with the signs. Which one is my b? B is equal to what? 4. And then c is equal to what? 21. Are you seeing that? Don't forget the formula. It says x is equal to minus b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So I'm going to use it here to say x is equal to, but now I'm no longer finding x, I'm finding y. Y is equal to minus b, so it's minus bracket, my b is a 4, plus or minus square root of b squared bracket 4 squared minus 4. My a is negative 1, my c is 21. Make sure that the square root overlaps. Over 2a is negative 1. I prefer this because I don't need to stress. Just use the formula. Bracket minus bracket 4 plus square root of 4 squared minus 4. My a is negative 1. My c is 21. I was supposed to close that bracket, but it's fine. All over 2a, 2 negative 1. It will give me two answers. The first one, y is minus 3. See, second one, y is 7. So I've got y is negative 3 or y is equal to 7. That's what it gave me. As I said, I was supposed to close here. So of what it has given me, just want to take that off there. Alright, look, I've got two values of y, but is it the end? No. Remember, simultaneous equation, simultaneous meaning x and y. You go to equation 3, which is x is 2y minus 4. So you write here to say, but x is equal to 2y minus 4. Write it twice. X is equal to 2y minus 4. You bring the first value when y is equal to negative 3, and the second one, y is equal to 7. It will give you two values of x again. X is equal to 2, bracket, you put minus 3 for y. Every time you substitute, put that, a bracket. Even here, x is equal to 2, where there is y, I put a 7 now, bracket, 7 minus 4. Are you seeing that? It's very important. They need to give you values of x here is equal to, but you can simply rely on the calculator here. 2 bracket negative 3 minus 4, it gives me negative 10. Or x is equal to 2 bracket 7, which is 14 minus that, and this one will give me a positive 10. But let me just test quickly. 2 bracket 7 minus 4, it's a positive 10. So guys, these are the answers. If you want to put it in coordinate form, you are allowed to say when x is negative 10, what is the value of y? Y is negative 3. You can do that. And then when x is 10, y is 7. You can do that. Still allowed. So that is that. But it is the simultaneous equation here. How many marks? 6 marks. Let's look at now question 1.3. Discuss the nature of roots of the equation that. And how many marks was this question? It was 2 marks. Nature of roots. What must I do? I just want to take this thing away again, so that I can have my space here. I love my clean space. So let me clear my board. Yeah, look at this. Nature of roots. It says discuss. Okay, discuss the nature of roots. 2 bracket x minus 3 squared. Let me write it like this nearby. 2 bracket x minus 3 squared plus 2 equal to 0. It's 2 marks, meaning it's not far from the answer like that. The nature of roots. Now, whenever you are to discuss the nature of roots, first thing first, let's say I was solving for x. What do? Take that to the other side. It would be 2 bracket. Remember, it was like solve for x. X minus 3 squared is equal to negative 2. You see, positive becomes negative. Now divide everything by 2 here, divide by 2 there. So I've got what? X minus 3 squared is equal to 2 divided by negative 2 divided by 2 is negative 1. Now, how do I get rid of that square? I square root and I square root. There is the part to say here square root. After putting the square root, what will I have? I will have x minus 3 is equal to square root of negative 1. But now there is the part. If you say square root of negative 1, the calculator will give what? An error, meaning this is non-real. They are not real. This is non-real. It's not real. So because you can't find the square root of a negative, so the nature of roots are non-real. So roots are non-real. Some they say non-real. So that is that. That's why it was just 2 marks. 2 marks. 1.4. 1.4. Determine the value of values. When they give a question like this, value, it's up to you whether you see 1 or more than 1. So determine the value or values of P. If you think it's 1, it's fine. If you think they are more than 2, but if they are supposed to be 2 and you write 1, you'll be penalized. If they're supposed to be 1 and you write 2, you will be penalized. So determine the value or values of P if g of x is equal to minus 2x squared minus px plus 3 has a maximum value of that. This question is actually maximum, minimum. Whenever they talk about max and min in question, and then there's the square, always remember this. At minimum or maximum, x is equal to minus b over 2a. This is the line of symmetry. Is like this. Sorry, let me not do that. Let me say it's a graph. If I give a graph like this or like this, so that point in the center is x is equal to minus b over 2a. So that point there, we call it the what? The maximum point. And even here, that point there is called the what? The minimum point. So the question here says determine the value of P if this has a maximum value. It makes sense because we've got negative 2. Remember here, it happens when a is less than 0. You get that maximum. But now you will have the x value, then you need the y value. Look at this now. They gave us what? Minus 2x squared. Let me write it here. Minus 2x squared minus px plus 3. So they call that g of x. I'm going to write it on the other side. So I just want to bring it in here. So if I have this thing, sorry about that. This is what I have here. And this is g of x is what? G of x is equal to this. Now, when I'm given that, as I was telling you that I need that part to say x here is equal to, now look, I've got a x squared plus bx plus c. So what does it mean? It means I have to identify my a. You can see if I cut there, and that, what is a? Negative 2. What is b? If I cut there, my b is equal to negative c. Negative p. What is c? C is 3. I think that. Therefore, if I say x is equal to minus b over 2a, when they say maximum minimum, that's what you must think of, which is equal to minus, now minus where there is b is negative p, see that, over 2 where there is a, it's negative 2, which is equal to cancel, which is p over 2 times 2, it's negative 4. but this you can write it as negative p over 4. That is the value of x. But now, like I said, in here you have got the x and the y. Remember, coordinates are x and y values. That's what you'll be having there. But now when they talk about the maximum value, it means the y value. Why? Because if I put a Cartesian plane like this, so that point is what determines to say its maximum. That's what makes it maximum, the y value, and this will be the x value. So the y value is what you're looking for every time they talk of maximum or minimum. But now, how do you find the y value? The y value, remember, you are given that g of x is equal to minus 2x squared minus px plus 3. That is our g of x. But they told us what is that maximum value. The maximum value is 3 and 1 over 8. But if you convert this, 3 times 8 is 24 plus 1 is 25 over 8. So they are telling you that the maximum value here, that g of x, is equal to 25 over 8. This is 3 and 1 over 8. You can check with the calculator. You see? So now it means in here, two things that I'm having. Look at this. I can come here and say g of, I know my x. X is minus p over 4. Let's say I was having my x there. If I take it from here, it will be negative 2, and then where there is x, I put what? Minus p over 4. Are you seeing that? Squared minus p. See where I'm getting into? Bracket px is what again? There is my value of x, which is negative p over 4, and then what? Plus 3. Are you seeing that? That is g of that. But here, if I can erase here where there was that x, they told me that g of that minus p over 4 was that. Was 25 over 8. You see now how this thing was getting it. So which means I can then take this part, these two, I can take them and equate them. These two, I can equate them. What do I mean? I simplify that to say minus 2. Remember, this is minus p over 4 minus p over 4. That's what it means. So it's minus p times minus p is p squared. 4 times 4 is 16. That's what it means there. So I can have now here bracket p squared over 16 minus p times minus p is plus p squared over 4 plus 3. This is equal to that, which is 25 over 8. I think that. Then that cancel gives me 8, which is minus p squared over 8 plus p squared over 4 plus 3 is equal to 25 over 8. I can get rid of that 8 here by multiplying that by 8, this by 8, this by 8, and that by 8. I just want to get rid of the denominator. This will go to have minus p squared, then 4 into 8 is 2, so it's plus 2p squared is equal to, that goes, is equal to, before that 3 times 8 plus 24, I'm here, I must multiply that, is equal to, then that goes to have 25. I was just making it flat. So minus 1p plus 2p minus 1 plus 2, it's p squared, which is, or 1p squared is equal to, take 24 to the other side, it's 25 minus 24. So p squared, my square is like p squared is equal to 1. How to find p. You square root both sides, right? So you've got p squared square root is equal to plus or minus. Remember, when you square root, you say plus or minus. So p is equal to plus or minus 1, meaning p is equal to 1 or p is equal to -1. That's why they said here value or values. I hope it makes sense. 26 marks, guys. It's your taking. What do you think? This was question number 1. We are revising, preparing for your final exams. I have you in mind and I want you to excel. Give me your thoughts, give me your ideas, give me what do you think about this. So join me again in the second question. We'll be doing the full question now, but today I'm doing question 1, tomorrow 2, and so on. Keep on checking the channel. That's why you need to subscribe and ensure the notification bell is turned on. We've come to the end of our lesson. Thank you.